It is another Saturday in the country of tears. It is another Saturday in a country of tears. More than 1 month down the line, former president Arifwa tabamushika. Mulelwile chitumbi kulabira omuntu omwakene elo ninshali ali n'obuumi. Mwale mukanye okuya ku kipatala aireeka n'abakashi elo lyafwa elo mwala mufwaya. This nonsense must be stopped. Tuale Mr. Warning protects. Tuale Mr. Advise. Tuale mieba. Kulando kweba ati uyu muntu mule chusha ni former president. Uyu muntu mule chusha ali ni former commander of the armed forces. Uyu muntu mule chusha, he was a president for the civil servants. He was a president for the poor people, the rich people, the blind people, the widows, and everybody in the Republic of Zambia. Muno muchalo mwari bo musalula. Muno muchalo mwari bo rupato. That's why this country cannot develop, because most of the people, they live in hatred. Chinwa chalo chali kwa tabantu abatumpa, abakwata rupato. Ngole fwaya ukuchula ule pata abantu. Ngole fwaya ukale chula. Ngole fwaya ukale chula. Where you are, ule pata abantu. That's why the Bible is telling us that love your neighbor as you love yourself. Jesus Christ is talking about the neighbor. Peter is telling people in the book of Peter. Peter is telling people outside there. Lelo ni pasata dori ala kuchechi. Urala mkupere chabu pe mchechi. Bale kuitati nuobo yoda. Bale kuitati nuobo pasta. Bale kuitati nuobo na pasta. Urala mkupere chabu pe. Ule pele chabu pe nani? Ule pele lese chabu pe otawamo napo. Bible lando kweba ati, you cannot love God. Failure to love the people you live with. Te tute mwelesa wapata baneba. Te tute mwelesa wapata abantu obo bombana belenchito. Te tute mwelesa wapata rungo wale mona. You cannot love God and you hate your brother. So if you are that to Alex Star advise, na pa penetrate to advise. Apa we are warning again. Icharo ja kweba every time umulerwa. Every time kuikata abantu, every time kutwala abantu kujere, every time abantu barerila, every time abantu bere for pama road, abantu bere tamba. This nonsense in this country must be stopped. We are not going to be appreciating people when they are dead. We cannot be fighting for a dead body. When you read from the book of Luke, kwadi abasa mbibamo ba ile kudi Yesu Kristo nokuya mwebo kwebati ba brulu be isu na abafwa. Yesu Christo baby that let the dead bury themselves. Because you cannot appreciate the dead. You can't. You cannot respect the dead person. You can't. Umuntu ngafwa has got no use. So you cannot be fighting for the soil. You can't. You cannot be fighting for the soil. That's why in most of the time in Dalanda, you cannot love your parents when they're in hospital. You are a fool. You cannot respect your parents when they are dead. You are a fool. You need to look after your parents when they are still alive. You need to care for your parents when they are not sick. Maba na bamama baba tumpa. Bano konga baruwala elo wala bashitira omuti ule bashitira amabanana lile bali abatunturu to bashitira po amabanana to bashitira po to bapele filifyonse. Banoko, you want to feed your parents on medicine. Dilaba muchipatala elo wala bule ndalama ule shitomuti banoko, you want to feed them bale konsha wale wonka ibele amabele yali pona mulandi wakwe tu wale wonka banoko bachili bale chula ba wiso bachili bale chula ba aba kusambilishe skuru. You are enjoying life, forgetting about your parents who are fools. You cannot be looking after your parents when they're in the hospital. You cannot go to the hospital. But we somebody shikila. Elo le bule ndala. You want to be looking after people when they are no more. Coffin. You want to spend the money. Ishwandalama mwaposere ukwimbe chirindi ichakushika morungu na mwalimu pele shirendalama fima internet fyarambo kushupa so irendalama mwaona wile kula imbe chirindi chakushika mobalungu lungu mwalimu kufumya pandeke ala kwele ndeke anapokuya ku South Africa pandeke pa airport mwa mfumya hapo mwalimu kani no kuya out of the country nobody liafwa elo mwalafu echitumbi and to show love to a dead person. That nonsense must be stopped. The Bible says you reap what you sow. What you are doing, what you have done, Kurirungu. Now, power is not permanent. Power is temporal. The people that you have thrown in prison are going to be your leaders next year. How do you think they are going to treat you? The people that you have arrested, they are going to be in leadership next year. How do you expect to be treated next year? Bane, ichitemwiko chali chila fiance. Ichitemwiko chali chila fiance. You cannot come into government and you think you are Alpha and Omega. No. You are not Alpha and Omega for this country. This country is for the younger generation. Imomo alikota, mo alipita. Let the younger generation take up leadership. That will for amangarwa. Because muni bakuru, tamuni baiche. Aba kweba ati umunenu aleru wala na wali mukuru muri bakuru sana imwe mura mfamu muri bakuru sana imwe mura tontonga yanga abakuru wala mura chitefiri cyonse mucyaro mura tontonga yanga abakuru mura tontonga aba muralangisha hatred kubana abanono. You want to show tribalism kubana abanono imamu alikota mukafua mukashira problem abana abanono. When you come into government you are not a messiah. You are not Alpha and Omega. Your time is ticking to be in the government. So, when you mistreat other people, what do you expect when you leave that power? Because, kwa diba UNIP badia, kwa diba MMD badia, kwa diba PF badia, the next to kuya niba UPND, whether bale fuala mutabale fuaya. So, when you are in that seat, when you are seated in that seat, think about tomorrow. You are a husband, you are a father, you are a wife of somebody. You should always think about tomorrow. Because tomorrow will be a different day. We only know where we are coming from. We don't know where we are going. Great leaders, they bring people together. Great leaders, they fight poverty so that people who are poor, they can also benefit. Julius Mwalimu Nyerere of Tanzania, he said, indeed, nothing at all changes the responsibility of the poor to overcome their own poverty. Julius Mwalimu Nyerere, the problem that we have in this country, the poor people are supporting nonsense. You know, wamuntu le chula, when the panshi, ulala pesaka, ulabonjela pitra trin, aba no babonjela mo flashing toilet. Iole uleza pota abantu abakwatenda lama. Who has witched you that you can't think? Great leaders, when you have got a leader must fight poverty. A leader must do the works of the mind of God. Muna muchalo, muna umfanga ndelanda, muna muchalo. There is nobody that is important. All of us, we are the same. Because when we die, we go to the swell. Whether you are rich, you are poor, you go to the swell. So we are equal. If you are such today, Charochino, I become a sort. The calendar mifunda mule tontonkanya. Let's all become a sort. I'm here to mube sort ya chalo. Move your muchele wa chalo. Why? Alela that move your muchele wa chalo. Because umuntu wonse wa wina no sha wina ada the sort. Lesa abika sort ya free. Mula umvaga ndelanda. You the poor people and the rich people, you are the same because you want some of the sort. Anyone else if you are chita abiko wa wina no sha wina ukuba same. Also wa wina no sha wina apemo mwero wa kwalesa. Meaning that the president and you the poor people, you are the same. Lesa, amipela menshi. Water for the rich and the poor. Whether you are rich or the poor, you still share water. God has made you the same. So when God has made you the same, you should learn to love one another. You should learn to respect one another. You should learn to understand that death can strike at any time. The info na le miye bapadi balungu na bakainde echilema na lelanda. 3 months ago na lelanda ti akainde echilema na Edgar Lungu must forgive each other. Kwa libe info taisala. Whether ni webo president ni webo former president nipo taisala. Bali shuka aba kwatamenso ayakulolesha pampumi hapa. Pantu muntu ngalenda alikwata pampumi. There is a date that is written when you were born, and there is a date when you are going to die. It only takes those people that God has given the eyes to see. Ela mulenda mayo na apapa mulenda la mwikala. Pampumi pali lembwa deo mwafierwe. Panshi pali lembwa deo mukafwa. That secret belongs to God. And you cannot remove that debt. That debt, you cannot remove it. Whether you are rich, whether you are poor, whether you are a president, you are a member of parliament, you are a councillor, you are a mayor, you are a minister, your day to die is coming. So we need to prepare our minds. We need to prepare our hearts to love one another. Jesus Christ is talking about love. Love. You cannot enter the kingdom of God without love. You cannot enter the kingdom of God without love. That's why Jesus Christ is preaching about love. Because if you have got love, you cannot stop your friend to go for medical checkups. You can't. If you have got love, you cannot fail to give. Yesterday, I want to give you a testimony. Yesterday, early in the morning, when I'd wake na abu cafe, phone yandi yalisa yapona, yombo, hii nendela ndilapo yalisa yapona. Yatobeka screen. Yasa yatobeka screen, and I had no money. For hii the phone ndela ndilapo yalisa yatobeka screen, yesterday yatobeka pa. Yalapo yapone, not yapatari, yapone ni yapepi. Apa kweba telefone de kitobeke. Yari kwata screen protect, yari kwata shani, yari sa yapona, yatobeka screen, shikwe tendela made yonse. Yesterday I received calls from people people from nowhere. People they called me early in the morning. Grassroots, how are you? Not know I've got a problem. What is the problem? Not funny and young bonja, broadcasting, shikwe tena rupia. Yachi na lebo mfeka phone ya kanono. Na lebo mfeka phone ya kanono. Na lebo mfeka umuna bikiyama simu kadira bikiriomo. So abantu bale ntumila mafoni. Iwe grassroots media wabuka shani. Kuntu lave na cha bosi lero nshibukire bwino. Phone ya ndio mbomvi yachipona. Yachipona yatobeka screen. Brothers, let's show you. When you speak on behalf of the people, you never suffer. Somebody told me how much is a screen. I told him it's 1,250 other shops. Other shops is 850. Blackouts. No indarama, no chan. People they said no. That is a simple issue. That is a simple issue. When you love people, you never suffer. When you are under the wings of Jesus Christ, you never suffer. Somebody said, I'll buy a screen for you. They started donating. We had to make 200. We had to make 300. We had to make 250. I was using a broken stand. Out of the Bible says, I want to show you. Don't go. I want to show what God can do. But I want to show you something. When I was, my phone got broken yesterday. I complained. I talked to my wife. And where am I going to get the money to repair this phone? From nowhere, people started calling. Hey, grassroots media wabuka shani lero. Not what a problem. They donated. After they donated, I bought a screen. When I was in town, I told you, my friends, I told you, I told him those guys and chitundu mwarande chitundu cha chitongane chirenje na umbyarande chimemba barababiri. I complained. I said, guys, mwana ni stand on debo mfya yari kontaika. Muna yari onaika he standing yari onaga akokombo mfya ka stand. Kadi onaika. What am I supposed to do? But I told the guys, today is today. I'm going to buy a stand. Nangu phone ya chitobeke hii bai bika ama guys abale bika nangira mtauni grassroots ni chana phone screen ni singa screen at 850 850 atao na la upela pale 500 nokubika nakubikira free abika abi 500 screen ya 1250 abika screen mula uvavyo ndelanda. When you love people, love will take you to the place where they're going to help you. After that puisha, that's how to me know what job kumunandi. Why? Standing bonfia. Yadi onaika, kadi onaika standing amule mona. Kadi onaika. Kuna kuzambia takalefo kungafwa. When you look at this, kadi onaika kaka stand. Anjebelo kwebati. That is a simple issue. That is a simple issue. Go anywhere where they'll give you a stand. I'll send them the money. Where mona? Where kopa? Where tamba? Where kopa? Where mona? If you there's a two paper. Where mona? This is a new, brand new stand. When we worry, God works. My God works when I've got no hope. Hope na ipoa. Stand down na ika. Camera na toba ika phone. God made a new. That's why the Bible says count everything as joy. Because God is still working. That's why me I'll never worry. Ba Moses kafula. Ba mlenga. Wakamba sana. Mulikusa ube. Mula vyo ndelanda. Some of us, we survive because of love. When we have nothing, God will appear. Taukwa tiobunga. Wala mfafi wa muntu wa kutumina ulupi. Ala kwa ati. Grasso tumie tamkwe. Niishi ya shupa lero. You are quiet. Na kutumina ku 500 kwacha. God is still giving us. When you love people, you are not going to suffer. When you love people, makalamba, ukutemwafia abantu. Nokubalandi lako. God will bless you. So, if me and God gives me, that was last year if I'm not mistaken, I had nothing. Na ripangile program, pano pa media, na eberi abantu, therefore kusema 1 kwacha, na ama 2 kwacha. What happened? Na research talezi indalama, almost 1,000 plus. Na research talezi indalama, na ile muchiezi, mkushto obunga. To go and give in the streets. I told my wife, the only man I have, I was raising my 2 kwacha, my 10 kwacha, my 3, my 1 kwacha, and the God told me to buy miri meal and give to the blind people in the street. Some of you saw me, I was giving miri meal in the streets of Rusaka. In Shimunganda, Tamudi Ubunga. So, we should do the works of the Lord. And God will bless you. We should love one another. Baka inda ngabari temuwene ba edigarungu. Life yotu wapitamu wapea musebanya. Ngatakuri. I don't think kwa liba kwa abantu. Aba hapo kuma mochari. Muna muzambia kwa liba ma mochari. Tulomfat and claim the bodies. Tatuwa mfuapo abantu ba mkuruile chitumbi. Yo! Uyu mwana lifo aleshika lifo mufiere ba mkuruile chitumbi takwaba. The dead are the dead. They are waiting for resurrection. And you cannot fight for the dead person if you never cared for them. You cannot care for a dead man. You cannot show love to a dead man. When the dead person is still alive, when that person was still alive, you never cared. And you want to care for a dead person. People are going to ask you, are you normal? Iyo mwana walikuwa tamano ba wiso bale chula. You are the manager at Airtel. You are the director at MTN. You are the human resource at Zamtel. Ba wiso bale chula bale lare nsala. Wale sendenda la mole pela maule. Wale korwa. Wala bokwe bati ba wiso na banoko eba kusambirishe. Lideba afwa. You want to go and show yourself. You are the manager. You are the director at the Ministry of Agriculture. You are the human resource in any department and want to go and show love to a dead person. You are a fool. Learn to love one another. Love pays. Love gives everything. Lesala mipela masukumuleria for free. Love is free. Lesala mipela finkubala muleria for free. Lesala mipela menshi mulenwa free. Lesala mipela soti free. Lesala mipela kasuba mwema ule. Mula wa chef ya kufuala fya uma. Mwendoshi. Mula wa chef ya kufuala fya uma. Lesala mipela kasuba free. Lesala mipela umwe free. Lesala mipela kasuba ali mipela umwe shine ntanda mule tamba free. Mula mkuipa esa mufimana. Mula senda masumbu. Mwalipanga po esa bimwe. Mwebala bamwena imwe. Mwalipata abantu. Forgetting that whatever you are using is God's love. What love are you showing to your neighbor? What love are you showing to the people in your position? What love are you showing to the people in government? You are all created in the image of God. And your destination, whether you are a president, you are a minister, you are a councillor, you are in opposition, the next thing is to die. Never be taken by the wealth of this country. Because the next thing that is going to happen, you are going to die. As long as you are going to die, there is heaven and hell. Trafineresa mipela kasuba. Amipela no mweshi. Amieba no kumwebati. Kwali bakunchende kumbi ukwakaba. Umweshita wakaba. Kwali bakunchende kumbi. Ukwa mukaya. Ukushakaba. There is hell and heaven. You have not understood the powers of God. Lesala kupela kasuba. Abakashibobe barewasha. Bamedi barewasha. Waliteka fite kwa file kula. File yefia nifia kwa lesa. Walipanga po yefia niwe. Pakuteka otubushi. Pakuteka ngombe. Pakuteka inkoko. Pakuteka fe mwa kwata. Fisha fe mwa panga po emu. Everything is God's free. Ingombe. Shila yefia nifa free. Ingombe. Shila mumpanga shila yefia ni. What God has created for free. And you want to be small. You want to be like Nebuchadnezzar. Lesa te wakutwala kwa masangi ale paya. Lesa te wakutwala kwa masangi ala penya. Lesa te wakutwala kwa masangi ale paya bantu. Ali peta mu Sodom and Gomorrah. Bale nwa. Bale fula. Bale chitobu chende. Bale fuile. You the Zambian people, you are not special. You don't want to preach love. If you are for my hatred. If you are for kula tukana. You are forgetting that everything that you are using is God's creation. Iliwe beri ole tonya. Walipanga po ebelewe. Ishwe miwa mokisinga. Walishipanga po. It is God's creation. For God so loved the world that he gave you a wife. You are a fool. You hate other people. Kwa liko muntumo. Kuluansha. Kuluansha kula kumpata mato. Kwa liko ba mdala bamo. Baleka naba nabo. Papa chipanda. So, balaba mdala bonse babidi. Badi upile. Badi upile bonse balaba mdala babidi kula kumpata mato kuluansha. Mweba hapo kuluansha na mkuishiba. Ngatu wapita pa first class tuwana mu second class. Shikubumo ba akashibamu na nko bafu. Tapo seko na mano kuchirilo. Ela baile kumanda umuna nkwalira pa. Mulandu wa network ile butuka lama bundles na ela shikwete sana. So balaba mdala babiri bali angala pamo umukashafwa. Lilo mukashafu ile tapo seko na mano aile kumanda muna nkwalira kumuna bakashiba kwatisha kama munepo bakashiba ndichapwa. Elio ula mdala tapo seko na mano babiri babuela. Tapo seko na mano tumuna nko uli mukashina bafwa. Ishtepa pita myaka ibiri tatu. Na ye nabakashiba kwe bafwa. Elu wasala ndaulo wa festa tuwalingana. Ichi pamu nobe. Echi inapaliwe. The death of Edgar Lungu, you cannot celebrate it. Because even you, your father can die. Even you, your son, your daughter can die. Your mother can die. So we are human beings created in the image of God. Those who are celebrating the death of Edgar Lungu. Next is them. How are you going to feel? If the people you love, the people you trust, they die today or tomorrow. What are you going to, how are you going to feel? Ichi pamunobe. Echi na paliwe. Info yava Lungu. There are people that loved Edgar Lungu. They have lost it. You might be celebrating today. The person you love, the person you trust, the person that you have got hope, tomorrow they will die. Because God is yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Let's start with hope and empire. Takwa abati abari kwa tenda lama. Yo abani baka teka. Yo abani ba former president. Yo abani ba minister. Let's start empire. Tuwalimala po ba Michael Sata mu state house bafwa. Tuwalimala po Levi Mwanawasa mu state house ya bafwa. Tuwalimala po Rupia Banda. Abena FTG abana nde sungu chapidika bafwa. Badi ya kuiloba. You are not special when you are holding that power. Ela mulipa mpando hapo, mulimititi. Ela mulipa mipando hapo, muliloba, mualifwa. You are dead. It is only the God of yesterday, today, and tomorrow, who lives forever and ever, and his angels and Jesus Christ, who resurrected from the dead. Are you going to resurrect? Are you going to resurrect na tribalism mumitwe? Are you going to resurrect? Are you going to resurrect? You think you created yourselves that you can fail to show love? There are some people who are useless. Kwa baba minister, aba stasha, kwa baba council aba tumpa. Aba PF aba councillors abengi baba tumpa. Ba member of parliament baba PF aba tumpa. Uyo akaindia ichile wali ku opposition. Mwale mwana ma councillors bakwe na ba MP bakwe kula join na UP join na PF. Namba maba PF ba councillor na ba member of parliament na Lungu wa mibikira kwa ba president wa Mr. adopt. Tala afwa mule join UPND. Do you love umuntu wa Mr. adopt? Pakutume MP. There were people behind you. Pakutume councillor. There are people behind you. Edgar Lungu tabalashika. You have already crossed. You are fools. Ala kubabuka ndile kutumpa. Ama members of parliament yaba kwaka inde chilema. Ela bali ku opposition. Bela tabala influencer. Imaba member of parliament yaba PF. Ba councillor yaba PF. Nimwa kwata fie nsala. You are fools. You should learn to respect the dead people. You should learn to respect where you are coming from. That's why some of you don't even care for your constituencies because you are fools. Akainde chilema. Alikwete ama members of parliament bakwe. Alikwete na ba councillor. For more than 10 years. Tabale ukukwata prostitution type of mind to enter from one home to another. Tabale kwata mind ya bupuba. But maba PF, ba councillor, ba member of parliament ba PF mu. Kutu mpoko mchita. You are not helping democracy. You are not even helping Akainde Chilema. You are fools. Akainde Chilema is laughing at you. Akainde Chilema is laughing at you that you are fools. How can Akainde Chilema trust you? You reject somebody who helped you. Tabaramushika, now I'm supporter UPND. Do you think the people in UPND don't think? They think. They know that you are a fool. Mwale ya ku state house mwaleria. Mwale imbe nyimbo kuri Lungu. Nuwaba musician. Nenga ndewa alikurira muna moto kwa listile muri Lungu. Lungu afwa. Wafila nukia kunganda kuchilo. You are a fool musician. Bama mwari tipua. Mwari tipua. Aba adabenu baka tipua. For the things that you are doing for this country. You don't love Akainde Chilema, you fools. Akainde Chilema stood with his councillors, with his members of parliament, with his mayors when he was in opposition. You want to know what in Sala? You fools. That's why this country cannot develop. You are not coming to support Akainde Chilema. Mrefu okudia. Moba kandile. Basakala nyongo. You are the people that have contributed for the failure of the president because we need to have Our leaders who have got principles. In Barungu, bari bakene. Abantu, bari nekekuya kuri Barungu. Me, I stood with Edgar Lungu from the beginning when he lost even election. I stood with him. Ndakwani mo muntu wa shooting the last video. Here Barungu, it's me. I want to bury Edgar Lungu. I want to go down with him up to the day of the burial. Muna mfavyo ndelanda. Ndakwani ine, I stood with Barungu. Barusa my election. Up to the level of Afwa. The person who shot the last video for Edgar Chagolungu, it's me. And I'm proud to say, I stood with this man from the beginning up to the end. Why you are a councillor? Uledi ole fora. Mwandu wa Barungu. You are a member of parliament. Uledi ole fora. Chalenga tu a member of parliament. Barungu. Ngabari kene Barungu. Ngatawali member of parliament. Barungu. Ela wadi mayor. Ngatabaku afuile. Mwirate mwabantu ngabakwa tendalama. Why do you want to love Wakainde Chilema? When HH was in opposition, you criminals, you thieves, you insulted him. And today you want to go and eat with him. He's looking at you as a fool. A person who has got no principles. You insulted Akainde Chilema. You Akainde Chilema Takabo president. You Akainde Chilema is a satanist. You Akainde Chilema is a what? You are, today you want to go to him. You don't have Akainde Chilema. Because if you love the Kainde Chilema, you would have supported him when he was in opposition. Now, because you are in opposition, you want to pretend you love Kainde Chilema, you are a fool. We need leaders that can stand up and defend this country. We need leaders that can stand and protect our people that are living in poverty. Those are the leaders we are looking up to. In a Kainde Shampata. Do you know why I love Kainde Chilema? I love I love that man because he's very strong. I'm supporting him with a failure, but I love him because he has shown us not to give up. How many years in opposition? The reason why I love Wakainde Chilema, Nangwantu Akuma police is very strong. You can't be an opposition leader. You are a coward. But police venga baisana naka futi na moto ya CDF wambo kusunda. No. How many times the police manjikata? I'm even in the court. I count everything as joy. But there is something that you need to learn from Akainde Chilema. Akainde Chilema is very strong. Some of you opposition, you are cowards. You are useless. You are beggars. Mulafu kubanga ifwe faba shibomba mu government faba shabomba mu government faba shapa makada aba kweba tulepita from one office to another. You are a councillor, you are even getting salary, you are even getting paid. You need to be serious. Mulafu kuba member of parliament no mulomo, mulafu kuba president no mulomo, ama phone tamwasuka useless. We need leaders that can come out and Akainde na ngunara na community house amuna tikuli ama leaders abalelanda not lelo walanda walwala diarrhea maro waleko kulanda. You are a fool. This country is getting destroyed because most of you politicians, you are fools. Most of you politicians, you are cowards. Most of you politicians, you are manhunters. We need leaders that can speak on behalf of the Zambian people. We need leaders that can put in the interest of this country. Akainde Chilema, Gadi ubupuwa bumwaba, Gadi etrati, alefu wa ende lama konsalea. Ngataba president. But himwa, mula nduwa nsala ubupuwa, because ubupuwa, you are not helping Zambians. Echo mulefuwa, you are a councillor from Mfumwe. You are a member of parliament of Eastern Province. Ulichipuba. Tawa wala mwakwebati, pakutume member of parliament, ni Barungu, na PF. You have failed to defend the patriotic front because you are cowards. Now let me have a party. Akainde Chilema walikuwa opposition for more than 20 years. Gari sumine, kuya chinja mashina, ku register of society. Ba you pia ndinga bari sumine. Kuya funyapo Akainde, mwabika po bambi. But because you the PF, you are cowards. That's why the UPN, they took advantage. Because you the readers and you the supporters of UPF, you are cowards. Imwe ba akainde chemora liko opposition kuti mwa register of society mwayachi nyamashina America. You call yourself, I'm a leader of whatever nonsense. I'm a president of this nonsense. You are wasting our time. Politics is not done. That's why I'm going to UPN development to my phone. Mwaiche, mbabuino. Continue. The UPN did a call. Continue. These people that we have in opposition are useless. For the Patriotic Front to work, we are a strong opposition political party. What is the work of the structures? Acho mwa structure change. Acho mwa member ba PF change. Constitution ilandashani party protest. You the Patriotic Front, you would have protested against that nonsense where they removed your names from register of society. But you call yourself no before PF. PF my foot. We need people who can stand up, who can go to police and challenge them. Police officers are not politicians. Their work is to maintain one order. Ukuya kuri kuomo affairs kuya register of society. You put the pressure because akainde ngatamire kere. Gamwalefo uko now na UPND. But because you the Patriotic Front members were cowards, the leadership is coward. You fear to go to jail. Akainde ale kujere. Mandela ile kujere. Nani Satani ile kujere. What are you fearing? Politics dele ya kulia. Dele politics lifupa kukola kota. Politics webu kwa luchero. You are a politician. You are wasting our time. Akainde echilema knows me better. Sometimes mnamna kwa tishani. Sometimes arantila. He's a good teacher. Mwikata nyumu eche banjikata. Bantu wala paka mwata. Bantu wala pa centro. Bantu wala kuforce headquarters. Arentile nesha to be a politician. Akainde Ichema is a good teacher. The only problem is that it does things on the opposite. Because that they give up. Bale mtu la kupolisi taleta give up. Namba imwe, gaba mitinya for one day, nishi, mwapete michila. What kind of politics is that? PF Abayonaula, you are the members of the Patriotic Front because you are cowards. Ba UPND ngabari sumine, ukuya mko naula UPND opposition. Gamwali nwana meshi ba PF na ala nali kumuchinga na ala mieba imo ba PF bale mipuma bale mpuma ba UPND bali ko opposition uko na ala mieba no mbanga ba some government na ala mieba. I was at Impika radio station there just after I came out and I was live on my page. I said ba PF bale mipuma ba UPND bali ko opposition ngacha kwa ba some government ba PF bada mipumba ba UPN bali ko opposition aba kuisoka kuda bali bapumine kuna kusango balaba mayo ba member of parliament ba aba kuisoka bana kaponda kuda bali bapumine time ya campaign mu 2021 na beba lokube bati ba PF mu arusa election. If the people in opposition bale mipuma, how are you going to protect your votes? You lost election because you are cowards. Hey, stop that. Because you are cowards. We need young men and women who can think. Where we are. Pari ababonse. Abala iminina. Abena KBF. Abena Karaba. Abena Fred Membe. Abena Kambwiri. Abena Chitaluchulufia. Abena Mundubile. Therefore, Umuntu is coward. Not a coward, no. Umuntu wa kwa tomu timo wa bantu. Umuntu ngale landa. Usha kwa tamwenso. Kwa liwa muntu mwaka India tina. Pari ababo na rumbula. Ama voti. Kama ito kuta protect. Ba PF. You don't have to protect your votes. Muna chitati. Nuwa waka member of parliament. Nga kwa ba day ama by election wala. Day akuvota. Na ufumako. Ulefa akate protect ama votes. When you go in the campaign. Tetu ulefa okupa mwana kashi. They are wedding. Bala kuletelo mwana kashi. Elio, dile bala kuletelo uruchielo konsekori ne filimba firedila. Dile balafu okuleta omwana kashimungande bala chimbusa naba mufimba wabutuka. Do you love that woman? Do you think you go in a by-election? Some of you members of parliament who are cowards. Mulatila sana ba cheba UPND. Na rimiaba ba UPND nga basenda mabasi adi 100. Na mosende na mabasi adi 100 ya makada. Politics is money. Politics is an investment. When Akainde Echilema invited me at UPND secretariat, when I was called by Akainde Echilema, some of you don't know. Akainde Echilema, when he was in opposition, he invited me at UPND secretariat. When I entered in their secretariat, there was a poster outside there. Akainde wrote, politics is a serious business. Only abayapo kuda kupie secretariat. Kwa the poster elo Akainde alembele kwe but politics is a serious business. If it's a serious business, how can you do business without money? How can you do business without protecting your business? Because when you are doing business, you have to protect your business. You have to put in money. You can't say you are doing business without capital. Because even talk time is capital. Even movement is money. Everything is counted when you are doing business. But you want to go in a by-election without money. I've been telling you, uko in my election ya 2026. For any KPF, mufwa ina ndambo. Abadi ngile kuwapatebu haba. Because ngandemi bata mumfwa. Awa mwa kwata, bali kwa tuso, basi ala tuso. That's why mule pona. I also am by election by UPND bali pona. By UPND they know. Pambashe they lost. They know. Kawamba they lost. And they even know Rumes they lost. They know. But because you're the opposition, you are not organized. You have got fear. Kuratina by Jamena, by grade 5. Oh, Muletina, Amakada. Oh, Muletina, Ngaba is Amakada. Amakada by UPND. Ngaba is an amensh. Na imosende ni amensh. By UPND ngaba ni amensh. Na imonwe ni amensh. That is politics I'm talking about. Number politics, yeah, mwenso. You have a police na besa panganda. But police they know. Ilang central police in there. One day I was driving from Maken. Nafika palapa roundabout para. Nasa sanga police umwana kashi. Ale checking emisonko. A checking moto kayandi. Ero asala ndati. Ni time yaku chinja location. I have to go to central police. Number na in Dashan. I told that police woman, jump on my car. Na musenda I drove her. Na amusha pa central police na ingira. Prape po banjikata. Na amusha. Ba police wa muipusha uro mwana kashi. Na umishwa yuwa kuleta tiawe. Ni grassroots uyu. Wachimu ikata tiawe wachimpela ferifu. Because the police officers, they are our brothers and sisters. We need to love them. We need to care for them. We need to respect them. They are doing their job. Number one, I'm central police. No other politician. Umwenso. Last week, na the performance headquarters. Naria. Nari tuare in character. Pari passport yandi. Naria. Because the police officers, they are our brothers and sisters. Tuare poshanya. Nama phone yandola. National perception. Bampea na card. Ule akuisa. Na beba ndiya kuiba inspector general police. Na senda na card. Bampea na card. Na ingira. Na ana pa second floor. By inspector general police was pa. If I'm not percent floor. If I'm not mistaken, yes. Naria. Last week. Chale tiyo because ndalanda pa media. Ba police bara njikata. Ama officers bara mposha. Grassroots. Mwachitandalila. Na chaula samkutandala kwe. Nepo mleko ba boss pa mulu hapa. Brothers and sisters, we need to put the interest of the country first. You cannot do politics as cowards. Akainde Echilema is very strong. But the only problem he has failed to work. Ndachako ati Akainde alibombele. Alibwezesha obunga 50 kwacha. Fuel 12 kwacha. Nama la load shedding apuisha. Na abantu bara ikuta bara upa. Akainde Echilema is very strong. Number one, I want to talk whatever. By election, you have to Tabala sana announce. Why do you go to a by-election, you members of parliament? You go and do what? You go to show yourself that you are president, you are a fool. You need to protect the votes. When there is a by-election, you... Echimemba chilando kwebati tetufunde kolwe wa mushechi pato takwaba mube pusha babemba. You can't go in a by-election wa irangisha afye bakuti bakumona ati balisa ko then day akuvota bonse mwabutuka. Who would you expect to protect the votes? Mulaibepa mwalishuka tamunchi nshakwa funding mwalishuka shakwa funding because ngalikuwa funding ngaliseleje political party no kusenda ba UPND bonse na ma structure ya PF no kusawina kainde echile namba mwalishuka because mwalishiba ngalakukwata mano impia shali afya impia isako kufipuba impia kwa shisangwa ngachakuwa batili kwa tendalama. I can register a political party namba lokia kumalali ini akainde cannot stop me. I know what I can do for akainde echile. I know Filiafya muchitafi ya kainde echilema wachita apply ku force headquarters ela bakwebo kwebati bakusuminisha nangu balando kwebati awe takuli mani power yaba police ina kainde kumwe bali shiba politics bukaka kumwe bakainde kuchazanga kwa mandevu kumatero kumpurungu kusolwezi ku Southern Province Livingstone nde kwataladi ngataure for police. God is going to protect me the way he's protecting you. Elu watu wala police me I cannot fear the police. They know when I find the police at a campaign ground nishoreja kainde na tumaba police aba kunchita protect utiba tota ba police. Nota kwa tunasanga ba police anje belata kwa takuni mani power then na upper ground na asanga ba police na start respond campaign already. That's being foolish. Already Akainde has given you police officers. Why? He told you we don't have manpower. Yalari wa asanga ba police. You have to clap for them. You have to clap for Akainde Chilema. He has already given you security. But you go to land. You don't have to have police. How are we going to work? You are a fool. Politics, power. Politics in Indare. Politics, mano. Politics. You have to die for the people. You can't be a politician thinking about your belly. That's why those criminals are joining UPN, because they are criminals. They never cared for Akainde Chilema. They never supported Akainde Chilema. Did you appear? You are a fool. We need the politicians that are going to stand to the level where you are going to win, where you are going to have a victory in your hands. Mula kwati miya mwe small boy, ba you PND bala tumama phone. So tujo ine, na mpia walamba ukwata, na position tule kupela, na motoka tule kupela, wambia kupitamo, ule langisha abantu, ifyo wakainde bale mbele ama skulu bapangira CDF. But I said, we need to put the interest of the Zambian people. Bama ba UPN balanda chawe. Te tusende bonse. Abakalanda ni bambi. Ba ni banan. Your phone. Your grassroots media. You should stop talking. This government is very dangerous. Dangerous to who? Akainde was in opposition. There was a government which they called it was brutal. And this government is brutal. If they are brutal, be brutal. Akainde and UPND, they become brutal. Because they knew Kusenda Maka is not easy. And today you are saying, you are Akainde Chilema. Do you know politics, you? Inanda mieva sada, mlamakati, I'm a small boy. Ngakwadi bo muntu itapo Akainde Chilema to have a private meeting. Aisha motoka yakwe na encourage. It's me. Wani ba Michael Sata na Akainde Chilema, they are the pact. I called for Michael Sata. I said I want to have a meeting with Akainde Chilema. President Michael Sata the late allowed Akainde Chilema to drive where he was. You think me I'm a small boy? So I know what I'm talking about. As long as you are cowards, you can't win election. As long as you cannot put any money, You cannot win election. As long as you cannot find the people who are stronger, abena KBF, abena ndambala kwetu rupia. Those people, they are needed. Ngatamulefwa mkesa pora, mkarandaji shalandile. Ama election ya 2026. Forget about the past. Yo kambwinala ndile so. Yo you alisendeo contract. Yo you alikwate Milandu. You are a fool. Akainde ichilema. Pakuti yabe president. Milandu yo shasha kupolisi nishinga. Akainde was arrested how many times? Milandu washa mkoti. Milandu washa kupolisi ni yenga. Today is the president. Now, yo alikwate Milandu. Yo alilamba. Tapaba power ba clean. Ma politics. What more ine? Pano, student of Akainde Ichilema, student of Michael Sata, student of Edgar Chagwarungu. I'm not a councillor. I'm not a member of parliament. Akainde Ichilema, Arintemia, Arantemia mo. Arantemia. Me, I'm not a councillor. I'm not a member of parliament. I'm not a minister. But Akainde Arantemia, because I'm his student. So if you want to become a president, me, I'm a student. Nangulelo. Na yaku community house kuisuka ile. Lelo nga njefu ati hapa state house kuisuka. Me, I'm not a small boy. So what I'm talking about, you cannot win election. 1, akaso. 2, tamasukama phone. 3, you want to go and show to a by-election. By UPND, they know. Me, I've gone into the campaigns. I know what they do. Bala mileka mwashana campaign. Last day. Bala mileta chinchinya. Kwala isa makada. Bala awa makada bala bafisa. Baba fumia day ya kuvota. Ngo asanga chari amenso. Chari turumuna amenso ya rikashika. Ifeta fimone fima kadefi. Bafi fumia day ya kuvota. Ero imota mkuwe na money power. At yo we are going to win a by-election. Look for the youth who can protect you and who can protect the votes. Put in money. Look for the youth. Cadre to cadre. Politician to politician. That's how politics works. You cannot go in a by-election or a campaign. By you PN them to a campaign. Kutiba mi win same day. Badi quarter formula over chita. Kuka wambwa kulia. Badi ya booking ama lodge. Ama kada bale noa, bale kora. No abafumia. Bale na fede ya kuvota. Ela nomba de ya kuvota basa abafumia. Kutula pa polling station. Atio tra yote wina. Basa la kankungwa baiche. Chakwa bati ngafika na fala boot. Ngakutwa piwa polo wasunda. Kubutuka. You don't politics is strategy. But you try me ever. Politics about strategy. Politics about this. UPND, they have failed to govern the country. UPND, they have failed completely. But because of your disorganization, fear, you are going to fail to win an election because of fear. Am I election? Now winner, but you let in. UPND cannot win an election. Basa ngiri obunga 120 rungu waliponene. Beno obunga more than 300 kwacha. Bali sangile fiwa pali 17 kwacha. Lungu waliponene fiwa 17 kwacha. Fiwa yali 35 kwacha per liter. But because you, the opposition, you cannot take advantage of the failures of Akainde Ichilema. Because you are cowards. And you think like, tukawina my election. Mukawina my election, shani. Chisusu. Asundila pa bed mwandu wa mwenso. Kuya outside panzati. Inkala muyalandia. Kupesha chivola kumoswela. Politics te abana. So if you can't understand the strategy, the strategy they use, you are not a politician. Politics is about finding the weakness of your opponent. The weakness of the opposition is disorganization. Akaso, not as come a phone. Cowards. How do you become a president? You are a coward. Unamla kwa state house here, ya kunjela kwa mafi. Iwe. Pako you are the commander of the armed forces. For you to be called, you are the commander of the armed forces. You want to be a commander of the armed forces, you are a coward, you. Do you know what you are talking about? You cannot be a commander of the armed forces, you are a coward. That Hakainde is not a coward. That's why ngale fwale kuti abuka na biu7 yaipisha. Tabali you are cowards imwe. Ali penya pwe chalo Hakainde muletamba. What have you done? Alebe po FIFA tinga tuwaisa. Fiwa ka pa 17 kwacha. Yafika 35 kwacha. You the opposition, where were you? Let me tell you one thing. Hakainde Hichilema is a stubborn president mwaichawandi. You know who is stubborn? Umuntu wakwatama kaya kwa vati. Chikari pela kuta chikari pesha ale ke. Abela Hakainde Hichilema gamlemona. Nalisangu hapo na mkwe. Hakainde Hichilema chwa alefu ani chochine. Hakainde Hichilema aleta protest. Eka pa freedom state uparia. Ubunga 120. Fiwa 17 kwacha. How many opposition leaders have you protested? Who are freedom state to paria? You are cowards. Hakainde Hichilema had to read the book of the weakness of the patriotic front. What are the weaknesses? Then he started targeting the weakness. Bali kwatama cadres. What are we going to do about the cadres? This. Bali load shedding. This. Bali fuel. This. Bali dollar. This. You enter into politics without a strategy. Politics is strategy. When you go and study politics, what do we call political science? There are strategies. How to win an election. How to be a member of parliament. How to be a councillor. How to be a president. How to be a community leader in political science. Not politics yak pakanwea chuunda. Abana Hakainde baria. Mula ubawa randa. Is a stubborn leader who wants to get what he wants. So ngamule mwana kwati Hakainde Hichilema. Ale mitamba fye. Gabai kata uyeluita mwabutuka. Bari ambile. Na adimiavele ba PF tamumfwa. Na adimiavele ba PF. Na Hakainde Hichilema is testing waters in Kabush and Kwacha. Efa na bebele ba PF tamumfwa. Na alibabali ati strategy apangile. Ala mure ya kukabushi mwikasenda Bowman. Ala mure ya kukulali kukwacha mwikasenda ba maranji. Ba maranji basandi omuntu oba uli pa ground na Bowman. Elo aba babi ama campaign managers. Mwala wina kwacha, mwala wina na kuisa kukabushi. I told them tabaka mabi subinisho kwa ballot paper. When I say the stubborn president, bali ile kwacha kulia bana abantu babo babafumi hapo HHR chita campaign nishi umulandi ni constitution court if I'm not mistaken na ba constitution court na bala jokwe bati nobody should be on the ground campaigning. Hakainde was campaigning. Where is he? Where is Bowman? Where is Maranji? When you are a president, you take over the weaknesses of the others. That is politics. Hakainde bali nchiwa bino sana. Barungu bali nchiwe bwino. Ngakwadi umuntu bale ite pa bantu ati. Yoka grassroots media kali kuisa. Barungu told me, you are no longer 3 steps ahead. You are 3 months ahead. That's what Ed Karungu told me. You are no longer 3 steps ahead. You are 3 months ahead, Mwaiche. If the former president can tell me you are no longer 3 steps ahead, you are 3 months ahead. When I talked about the death of Hakainde Hichilema, death of Ed Karungu, all of you mwaletina. Na alela ndapeli barungu na Hakainde. Kwa libe mfwa. Ba HH kuti mwafwa. Ed Karungu kuti afwa. Are you going to forgive yourselves in a grave? What is Ed Karungu today? Didn't I speak? Shall I pamphlet? You, the Zambian people, you don't expect this country to develop because most of you are cowards. Mwalibela la buchushi. Akainda ichilema na ba UPND. Ilo shedding mkwete. Ngeba chiba ku opposition. Ngabali sta protest. Ba PF ngabaleta import amalaiti. But because you are cowards, you think in the constitution it is criminal to protest. No! You can protest without rioting. You can protest when things are not going well in the country. That is the work of a citizen. You are the eyes of the government. When you complain, the government will listen. You are complaining in your bedrooms, and you think Akainde Echema is going to listen. Now, Mika mu bedroom leto nyebele. Iyo tako ilo shedding. Ulichipuba. Iyo fio yari dula. Mubasi. Go out. Go to State House. Let him come out and address you. Mr. President, we voted for you. So that fuel cheap, load shedding is silly. Akainde Echema, on that protest, is going to call the Minister of Energy. He's going to call the Minister of Transport. He's going to call the ministers. What should we do for this country? People are complaining. But if you can't complain, if you cannot complain, brothers and sisters, you are not going to develop this nation. That's why Akainde Anjikatila, Adishwati Umaiche, Eurelanda, one day the president Baisa Ikapandeke, Basando, after one week, we don't want grassroots media. Fish feel and drain off me. Akainde intemwa, Naba Mutinta, and therefore la community house bana nobody. Tinaya, na kuni ba Mutinta because Julius Mwalimu Nyerere said poverty breeds poverty. President of Tanzania, Mswahili tunasema baba wa taifa wa Tanzania, huyo anaitiwa Julius Mwalimu Nyerere, anasema poverty breeds poverty. I'm winding up. Julius Mwalimu Nyerere said poverty breeds poverty. Mule mwana balabantu abachula ama families yabo. Abengi baba fi abachula. Waupe nchushi, wala fi alaba nchushi. Waupo wa wina, wambo kufi alaba na wina. Poverty breeds poverty. Don't you expect to change things in the where you are. If your mind is in poverty, ulela lo mwafita, and you expect to say, awe, if we change your mindset. You need a government that is going to speak the minds of the poor, that is going to improve the lives of the poor. That is the government I'm talking about. Julius Mwalimu Nyerere, baba wa taifa wa Tanzania, anasema hivi. Anaandika hivi. Baba wa taifa wa Tanzania, baba wa taifa wa Tanzania, raisi huyo anaitiwa Julius Mwalimu Nyerere, teacher, including my own people in Tanzania, including even his own people in Tanzania, brothers and sisters, poor people, they will remain poor. Poor people will remain poor if we don't change our minds of governing the nation. Our people will remain poor and they will remain beggars if we don't change our mindset to improve the lives of the poor. When you are rich, when there is no tarmac, you can use a 4x4. You can use a Land Cruiser. And the Land Cruiser is very expensive. It's only for the rich people. The poor people, they will remain poor. They will always die on the roads. Because we are poor. How many poor people have been shot in Mfumbwe? The people that have been shot there, they are poor people who want to struggle so that they can have food on their table, so that they can improve their lives. The people that were shot were poor people. Until we change the way we govern the country. Until we understand that for every nation, They are poor people that needs to be taken care of. Julius Mwalimu Nyerere wa Tanzania, rais wa Tanzania, anaandika hivi, anasema hivi. Indeed, nothing is at all. Indeed, nothing at all changes. The responsibility of the poor is to overcome their own poverty. Who is going to overcome your poverty if you are a coward? Who is going to overcome your poverty? You are a teacher. You are a nurse. Who is going to overcome your poverty if you yourself, you cannot set yourself away from poverty? Brothers and sisters, there is an urgent thing that is needed in this country, is to change this government of Hakainde Hichilema. Hakainde Hichilema has failed to improve your lives because you don't talk. You are waiting for you to vote. What about Ngababonfie Mingarato? Are you going to continue suffering? If in their first term you can suffer like this, you can complain like this, what about their second term? Tell your neighbor to put up your socks. 2026 is people against UPND. These politicians are cowards. That's why when they are voting, they hide their children. They hide their wives. Their wives, they don't even go and vote. Their children, they don't even go and vote. They hide them. But you, they use you. Who are the poor people? They will use you and dump you. When they're asking for votes, they will tell you by $14 upon. No load shedding, unga 50 kwacha. They are using them. They are playing with the mind of the poor. The rich people, they can afford buying a 500 bag of meal. But they come to you, the poor people, so that you employ them. And when you employ them, they start punishing you. And you continue supporting them. You are a fool. We need to enter in the mind of a Dr. Julius Nyerere, who said, indeed, nothing at all changes the responsibility of the poor to overcome their own poverty. Let's have me para. Continue loving one another. Continue standing on the truth. Uleba president, Nuyosha Kwatamwenso. Wala fumapa. Wala patient like Hakainde Hichilema is the next president. Those cowards who are thinking that they are going to win an election, they are cowards. You cannot win an election. So therefore, umuntu who are stubborn, who can unfear abantu, somebody who is stubborn to hear the voices of the poor. That is the leader we want. We want a leader who is stubborn to hear the voices of the poor and help the poor. We need a leader who is stubborn to help the poor. We need a leader who is stubborn to develop a nation. Someone who come and send from Mamba to Sinazeze. Somebody else going to be stronger. That is the leader we want. And Hakainde Hichilema will be happy. Because Hakainde Hichilema, he understands the power of democracy. He understands the power of democracy. He wants also to compete. So, brothers and sisters, we are in a multi-party democracy. Don't fear cyber, no. Cyber, it's not something that you can fear, no. Cyber, talk. Hakainde was talking. Even when there was cyber, don't say there was no cyber. There was cyber. Hakainde was talking. So let us not fight one another. Let us not insult one another. We should learn to love one another in a democracy, and at the same time to compete without fearing. But if you begin to fear, you are not going to be a politician when you are fearing. Politics is not about fearing. Politics is about talking real issues that will help the common poor people outside there. May God bless you, wherever you are watching, and may God bless our followers. All of you are following us. Thank you so much, brothers and sisters. I'm a bandos. Yasere bukayapwa. Otherwise, this is what I came to speak this morning. Let us come together. Chilo chaba lungu should not divide us, but should put us together.